Greetings everyone, I'm Stefan and today we're back with the builds. In today's video, we'll be covering a very interesting and very powerful Devouring Swarm build that can easily destroy anything on any difficulty in this game. So let's get to it. This is a 7 quintillion IQ Swarm. Now the strategy does not lie in the build itself, the strategy lies in a certain usage of game mechanics. Some might call this an exploit, I would call this an exploit, but it is part of the game, so it is what it is. Basically, in Stellaris, there is a penalty applied to your empire whenever you run into a deficit. For example, if you run out of food, your population will grow significantly slower, and they will also be more unhappy. If you run out of consumer goods or energy, you will suffer penalties as well. With this build, however, we're going to be running out of minerals specifically. As a hive mind, we use minerals to do research instead of anything else. And with a hive mind, we actually get virtually no penalties for running a minerals deficit. Specifically, we get minus 50% alloy production, and that's about it. As a hive mind, we don't suffer any penalties whatsoever for having a negative 300 mineral income per month, and honestly, this is something that should be addressed in the game. However, for the sake of this video, I'll be showing it in full use in this specific build. So let's get to it. This empire is of course a Devouring Swarm. This does present a couple risks in that you can very easily get attacked while you're researching your way to the top. However, with the strategies that I'll be showing, you're not going to be weak enough at any point in the game to let any other empire attack you. That is because if you research fast enough, the bonuses to your ships and station will simply outweigh all of the penalties for not having a lot of fleet power in terms of, actual ships. The Devouring Swarm Civic will also be a lot of fun when getting to the later stages of the game, where we can easily go and conquer everyone without having to bother with the claims mechanic. Otherwise, we are going to be running Ascetic. This is perhaps the best trait available to hive minds, besides Devouring Swarm, because it reduces Pop's amenities usage and increases habitability. The reason why reducing amenities usage is so powerful is because you require less Pops to sustain all your normal Pops, which means that you get more efficiency out of your population. As far as our traits are concerned, we are of course going with Intelligent to boost our research output even further. We're going to be going with Natural Engineers because engineering is the most significant of the tech trees, and also going Agrarian. The only raw resource we're going to be producing in this game is food. Food is extremely efficient to sell on the market, and in fact, if you have a choice between producing energy or producing food and selling it on the market, you actually get about the same efficiency. So our farmers are going to be extremely useful and are also going to let us rush down those research segments as early as possible. The plan is to get one of those research segments as early as, year 2 or 3, and the second one around year 10 or 15. As far as our negative traits, we went with 2 free picks. Unruly really does not matter all that much, and fleeting really does not matter on hive minds because your hive-minded Pops will start out a lot younger than normal Pops, and so you already get an extra 30 or 40 years onto your leaders, which you can very easily reduce by 10 years without feeling any sort of downside. Alrighty, so in this playthrough we started in a relatively meh position for any normal empire. However, we are not any normal empire. We are going to be completely overpowered the entire time, and in fact, we don't need to expand from our beginning system. Now, of course, you can expand and get your 2 guaranteed habitable worlds and produce Pops that way. However, it is entirely unnecessary. You can very easily get insane production by just staying on your home planet, and by not spending resources on expansion, we're going to be using those resources elsewhere in terms of research. However, we will still want to explore because, anomalies are nice and all, and as far as our technologies go, we're going to want to focus on the techs that increase tech output. This way we can get the snowball going a little bit faster, but otherwise, this build is going to be focusing on economy for the majority of the run. The first thing that we're going to want to do is make sure that our Hunter-Seeker drone is instead employed as a maintenance drone. You can very easily restrict a job and prioritize a single maintenance drone. We're going to want to keep amenities above 0 because otherwise we are going to be suffering production penalties. Otherwise, we're going to want to make extensive use of our extreme food surplus. So what we're going to do is set up some monthly trade deals. We can very easily sell up to 150 food per month without suffering any increases in price, so we're going to want to do that, and also start buying minerals for faster construction. I usually go for 50 minerals a month, although you can go higher with that. Otherwise, we're going to disband our initial fleet. Let's clear the design and save the ships. By doing that, we can upgrade the ships, get some alloys back, and disband them completely. We will not be needing ships in this beginning stage, and instead we're going to focus entirely on upgrading our station for our defense. Now we're going to sell some of the alloys we gained from that exchange, and go ahead and start clearing our first blocker. Now, as you can see here, our economy is fairly well balanced. We're going to start buying some minerals per month, and as you can see, we're getting 23 energy credits, 76 minerals, and a little bit of food extra. With these numbers, we're going to want to stockpile the minerals required for a research segment, and with the addition of the decrepit tunnels, we should be able to build that very, very quickly. At this point, we can sell some of our alloys and clear another decrepit tunnel. Do that. As far as our traditions go, we're going to want to go for discovery first and foremost to capitalize on ever increasing research speed. Alrighty, at this point we have plenty of minerals in the stockpile, and at year 2 we can start building our first research segment. Alright, and now that we're almost done constructing the research segment, I just sold off our excess volatile motes in preparation for buying up some extra gas and buying another segment. Let's keep our economy stable for one more month. Wait for gas to start pumping on the market. Now we can buy some gas and queue up another research segment. At this point, we're going to go through a very transformative change in our economy. At this point, we're going to cancel our minerals deal because we will not be needing this any longer, and we will want to start provisioning pops towards research. Make sure we have more pops available. We're going to want to disable our alloy foundry and also disable our synaptic nodes. This will allow us to have plenty of pops still growing food while having plenty of pops doing brain drone jobs. Now we're going to be pausing, seeing how our economy does after a month, and adjusting our trade deal accordingly. At this point, we're going to see a fairly stable economy when it comes to energy credits and food. We do not care about our minerals output because, of course, minerals are not going to do anything to us. The only thing they do is reduce alloys from jobs. However, we're not making any alloys from jobs. We are instead relying on the 5 base output of alloys per month, which is not affected by any modifiers. This 5 alloys per month is going to be enough for us to keep upgrading our starbase and to make sure that we can actually defend any attacker if they come. However, this won't be the full extent of our tech production because, of course, we still have our production policy to change and another research segment to build. So let's wait until those are done. Alrighty, now that we have our second research segment built, we have a grand total of 42 available brain drone jobs. We don't need all of those jobs, so we're going to disable our research lab. Our economy is going to completely tank, and we're going to start experiencing a very significant shortage in exotic gases. This deficit will fix itself eventually once we get the technology to produce gas by ourselves, but for now we're going to want to buy as much gas as possible and sustain ourselves that way. We're going to want to employ all of our synapse drones and employ a certain amount of farmers. The farmers are going to be there purely so that we can sustain our economy and make sure we are positive in both energy credits and food. Keep in mind that the efficiency of our farmers is going to go down because we are going to be enabling the manufacturing focus policy. This will allow us to get 20% extra complex drone output at the cost of 20% menial drone output. In other words, our farmers are going to be producing less, but our researchers are going to be producing more. So let's go for that. And make sure we have enough agricultural drones to actually sustain our economy. Of course, as pops grow, we're going to want to employ more and more brain drones, but for the time being, we will not want all of these 42 brain drone jobs occupied. In fact, we can even disable this research building for an extra 2 energy credits per month. So let's go for that. And let's see how our economy fares. All right, it's not that bad. We can sell fewer food per month. Now let's see how our economy goes. By the way, this is the process that you're going to go through, just trial and error. And now we have set up an economy. As you can see here, we are year 5. We are producing 536 technology per month. We are stable in energy credits and food, so we're not going to be suffering any penalties to our station. We still have output in terms of alloys to build up our station even further. In fact, you can very easily dismantle the shipyard and the solar panel array and instead replace it with 2 hangar bays. So let's do that. And we can also build up a few defensive platforms just to make sure that our station is completely overinflated and is not going to get attacked by anyone. As you might know, Strikecraft add an insane amount of fleet power to your stations, and so if you just spam a few of them, you're going to be able to get very high numbers, and the AI will simply be too scared to attack you. So we can go for a couple of those, and we can build them whenever it is necessary. For now though, we're just going to keep rolling and waiting for a certain technology. Alright, there we go. Exotic gas refineries. This is a technology that we desperately need because otherwise we're going to start running out of exotic gases, and even though we do want to keep buying them as time goes on, our economy is simply not built for constant buying of exotic gases. So once we get this tech researched, we're going to be far better off. Alright, now that we have the gas technology, we can easily build some of that. To make sure we can build that while having a minerals deficit, we're going to want to pause the game, sell some of the excess resources that we don't currently need, for example, food and a bit of alloys, and just buy all the resources necessary, build the building, and unpause the game. This exotic gas refinery will work even though we don't have any minerals to refine into gas, and in fact, we can just keep building exotic gas refineries and have some of our pops employed there to produce free gas while having absolutely no penalties to our economy. And now, as you can see, with the refinery up and running, we are starting to produce gas on our own. This of course requires some minerals, but since we can pull resources out of thin air apparently, we are still producing gas even though we have a severe deficit. At this point we are completely self-sufficient, and you can easily tune your economy to make sure you're producing 0 of both energy and food, and you can just keep employing new pops in brain drone jobs for eternity. Alternatively, you can double down on the gas production, produce an excess of gas, and start selling the gas on the market. It is very efficient to have one pop producing gas, then selling that gas, and using it to do anything that you want. After all, we are already breaking the game, so might as well go all in at this point. You know, why not? Let's go even further on researcher output. We just researched databank uplinks, so we can go ahead and do research subsidies as an edict. We have plenty of gas to sell at this point to cover the costs, so let's do that. And now we are producing a grand total of 722 research at year 13. Let's see how fast we can get to 1000 research with this specific strategy. Alrighty, we are now at year 27 with 1000 technology per month. That is pretty incredible. At this point, we can use our technological edge to go ahead, build some cruisers, build some strikecraft on the cruisers, and go out and conquer other empires. Of course, when you want to do that, you will not want to have a massive minerals deficit, and you'll definitely want to unemploy some of these brain drones. Instead, you'll want to re-employ your agricultural drones, build an extra energy segment, and start buying some of your minerals off the market. Then you can transfer them into alloys, and then you can build a fleet that will destroy absolutely anyone at this point in time. This run overall was meant to show 2 things. First, how powerful this specific build is, getting 1K technology this early, and 2, how powerful a deficit economy can be. This principle of running an economy on negatives is something that can be applied to virtually any empire. Most commonly, you will see a deficit economy in terms of energy. This is going to reduce your fleet power. However, if you're not at war, it doesn't really matter. Of course, you can get attacked while your fleet power is down, and that is why we stayed above 0 in terms of energy credits and tried to keep a pretty powerful station in our home system. With any hive mind, you can easily run a minerals shortage, and with any empire, you can be running an alloy shortage. An alloy shortage will only influence the power of your ships, so if you run out of alloys and you're not at war, that's not that big of a deal. The one caveat to this whole strategy is that it, of course, is a bit of an exploit. The developers might patch this up at any point in time, so have some fun while you can, and if you come up with any even more powerful builds using this strategy, please let me know in the comments section. But anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for future content. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.